3 months ago they put my service out to tender. We ran a big campaign in Bolton. We got 8,000 signatures for a mental health service. Within 6 weeks of starting that campaign, we lobbied the clinical commissioning group, and they suspended that privatisation. We heard yesterday that they've abandoned that privatisation process altogether, and they're going to end up saving the health service. And I do think that you have to take heart. They get away with what they do because they convince us that there's nothing we can do about it, or they convince us that something else is the problem. They've tried to tell us for the last sort of 5 years now that somehow immigration's a problem, and the reason you can't get a house, or you can't get a hospital bed, or you can't get a place when you want is because there are so many migrants in this country. Well, in the health service, 40% of our nurses and 25% of our doctors are migrant workers. Those people we welcome in this country, yes, because they help to make our country well and efficient. And if we want to save our health service, we have to stand together, black and white, British and immigrant together, to say we're getting the money off the rich, not off each other and fighting each other. But the other people that I think they really try and scapegoat is people who aren't working and people who aren't ill. That notion of hard-working families, if I hear that phrase again, I will scream. Because to be honest, I don't want to come out at the end of a week being hard-working. I want to just do an ordinary week's work. But because they cut so many jobs, loads of people now are doing 2 people's jobs, 3 people's jobs, and they are knackered at the end of the week. But there's 2 million people on the dole who want to work. Why are we not sharing that work out so that we all do medium amounts of work, and we stop having this hard-working nonsense and the shirkers and the attacks on people who can't work? And if you had that sort of work, then it would be more open to people who, when they were ill, could cope with it. Whereas at the moment, when you're trying to do 2 people's jobs, there is no way you can do that if you have any sort of health problems, because you end up sacking on the sickness monitoring policies and all the things that drive you out. And I do think the idea that people on benefits, people who are sick, people who are disabled, are people who are taking from our society. We created a safety net so that everybody should feel safe. We pay national insurance, people pay taxes every time they go and buy things from a shop. You pay VAT and taxes. And I think that idea that we shouldn't provide that safety net for the most vulnerable people is a way again of scapegoating, of trying to get people in work to blame people who aren't in work or people who are disabled. And I think that has to stop, and we have to say, everybody together, because we never know where we're going to be, has to fight for the right to say we are the 6th richest country in the world, and everybody has a right to a basic standard of living with some quality in it.